check out that view. We're just getting to Evanston. Gonna finally get out of Wyoming, get into Utah. Wyoming's the craziest place. The roads were shut down yesterday. I knew they'd be shut down. I had other drivers, referral buddies that have been up here in front of me telling me what's going on. When they got up here, I told them they were going to be stuck here. I said I knew that the best time was Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, not Monday and Tuesday. I set myself up when I got my load so that I'd be coming through here on Wednesday. Last night, I get to Laramie, right before you get into Laramie, so I decided to stay at the rest area there, right on top of the mountain, basically, before you drop down into Laramie. I usually stay there because I know that it was warm yesterday. It was in the 60s and stuff. I figured, well, it'll be cool there. I won't have to run my air conditioner. I won't have to run my heater. It'll be just perfect. I just wrap up in blankets, just the way I like to do it. Well, I get there last night. Well, right before I get there, it starts, I don't know, sleeting. You know, it's really heavy rain that looks like snow, but not quite snow yet. And it's, and I'm going, well, maybe it'll just be rain. So I get there and I get the truck all set up and I get everything ready and I get ready to go to bed. And I wake up about midnight to go to the bathroom and I open up the sunroof and all I see is snow. So I'm like, oh, that's gonna be fun. So I couldn't restart until like 4 in the morning. And at 4 in the morning, I got up, started the truck, started getting everything going, and then I had to go out there and shovel snow off the windshield and the hood and all that stuff. And I'm going, yep, nothing like another year of snow in May, because last year me and Robin were in Montana in May. I think it was later in May when I didn't think there'd be any bad weather, and it got to one of the biggest snowstorms out there and shut down everything. There was cars, people sleeping in their cars and stuff, and we were right behind that. And then we drove through the next day when they were still pulling cars out and stuff, and when they were starting to finally make a lane for us to get through. And then this time I'm sleeping last night in Laramie in snow. But when I woke up, I checked the app, the Y-Dot app, and all the red was gone. It said that where I was at, you know, black ice and snow, and, you know, be careful there. But I was like, yes. And so I jump in the truck and I had to go through all of Laramie, and then I got fuel at the pilot there right before you leave Laramie, and then I started dealing with rain. It was like 36 degrees, 37 degrees, and rain. And then for about an hour and a half, I dealt with that. And then I got to no rain, just this gloomy looking skies. But it was an experience. I mean, it was, there's a feeling, there's a good feeling. There's a feeling that when you're trying to predict your route and how it's going to work out for you, and then you pull it off, there's a really good feeling to that. But the other thing is, picking this unit up was nothing but construction, backed up traffic all the way getting down into Indiana through there, getting the load, getting back out of Indiana, fighting the whole mess, because I always like to get in there and get out so that when I start my next day, I'm not dealing with any of that stuff. I get 4, 5, 6 hours of that behind me right away, and then I'm ready to focus on the trip. But when I finally focused on the trip the next day, absolutely. This is the first trip all year long that I did not deal with bad weather, any kind of wind at all. I got 10.5 to 14.5 miles per gallon until I hit the Wyoming line. And then from the 30 miles there is when I dealt with bad wind, and I was down to 9 miles per gallon. And then today I'm back at 10, 10.5, 11, all the way through Wyoming. So yeah, no wind makes a big difference. You really, you watch, usually when I'm at this distance, I know what my fuel is like $150 cheaper right now than it is on the average trip. So unless something happens going through Nevada and I get really, really bad wind, because Nevada can be, that's what bothers me about all this stuff is you get wind in all these other states, but none of these other states treat it like Wyoming does. And I understand that Wyoming has these big gusts, but I've been in these big gusts driving 35, 40 mile an hour in these big gusts and can control my trailer. I think what happens is when you're doing this 80 mile an hour speed limit out in this windy weather and you get a big gust or a bunch of semis that are blowing by you, and all those 3-4 combinations happening is what blows these trailers over. I've been driving through here for 40 years and just paying attention and driving through some really, really bad weather and not having any issues. And now there's been so many people getting blown off the road, and I know you can't, there's nothing you can do if that giant gust of wind just comes across that road and nails you. I've had that happen to me. I've literally seen 2 of the wheels lift off on my snowmobile trailer, and I gassed it and yanked that trailer back down and kept it under control. Did I shit myself? Yeah, I thought it was gone, but I saved it. So I know that feeling, and I know, and I mean, I don't, to have it rip right off the trailer and the truck and flip over and everything, I couldn't imagine people going through that. But a lot of times I think that stuff is preventable without shutting these roads down. And now Wyoming's on this kick now where they don't shut the road down, they just shut it down to campers. And then they don't even tell you what it's about. I just found this out this morning talking to some people, and now they say any campers under 20,000 pounds are not allowed on the road. And they've been putting this up for like nonstop now for 2 weeks, and the weather's not even bad. And it's like, come on, guys. I mean, first of all, I don't know if a camper that weighs 20,000 pounds, our Riverstone was like 16 something when we bought it brand new. It's 20,000 with all our shit in it. But I think the heaviest fifth wheel that you can buy is like a little bit over 18,000 pounds. I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, guys, put it down in the comments. But I don't believe that there's anything 20,000 pounds. And I told the guy that. I'm like, so you're talking combination truck and trailer? Oh no, just camper. I said, okay, guy. I mean, that makes absolutely no sense. Why don't you just say no campers instead of saying campers 20,000? You keep putting this stuff out there. And he goes, you know what? We're trying to slow down. Basically, they want us to not go through Wyoming with our campers right now because they've had so many accidents to clean up and have dealt with so much stuff that they're throwing this out there. Well, unless you actually talk to the person, I thought a couple times that I was going through there that I was legal. You know, my truck is heavy with all the shit that I got in this thing. I'm pushing 11,000 pounds. I've been hauling campers that are close to 10,000. In my mind, I'm going through Wyoming. I'm a little bit over 20. I know when I hit the scale in Illinois every now and then when it's open, I know that I'm over 20,000 pounds when I do that. But that's not the case. The case is the camper has to weigh 20. So all you guys that have been driving through Wyoming with a camper that weighs 10, 12, 13, 15, 16,000 pounds, you are not legal. Your truck does not count. And what I was told today from the people at the scale house, they can enforce that the same way they're enforcing a closed road. The fine, $700 and up to 30 days in jail. So first of all, I want you guys to realize that you could be, if you piss that officer, you could be looking at 30 days in jail. The other thing, that reason I put these in these videos is, come on, Wyoming. I mean, this is a main corridor. These things gotta get delivered. We just can't drive around your state all the time. All the fuel taxes, all the money we spend in Wyoming, you don't have that many people living here. So you need this revenue. So figure a way to keep the road open. And if it happens, clean up the mess. Or maybe educate the people a little bit better. And you truckers, I know a lot of ex-truckers have become RV transporters, but when you guys are in those big rigs, and I understand, I don't know, thousands and thousands of pounds, you got tons of weight, you're not worried about it. But when you fly by that guy in the camper that's over there doing 55 or 60, and you go whipping by him at 90 mile an hour downhill because, you know, you go 50 uphill and 90 down the hill, maybe slow the hell down. In Wyoming, just put 45 mile an hour speed limit down when the roads and the conditions are bad and enforce them. Pull all them truckers over and give them damn tickets. Get them to slow down, because I've noticed anytime that I've came close to losing a trailer is because I've had 6 semis booked up behind me, finally come to an area where they can come around me, and they all fly by at that speed, along with the wind and the conditions. And you can see the trailer, you can feel it in the seat of your butt, man. You can feel what it's doing. All of that stuff is causing more of these problems. These speed limits at 80 mile an hour, don't get me wrong, when the weather's nice and the roads are clear, I love it. I love hauling back. When I'm done, I'm on my personal time, I love to run that speed. But I'm not driving by some guy in his little truck and little camper and causing him more problems. Enforce the speed. Actually enforce it. Pull them over. Give them the tickets. Get them to slow the hell down. Get everybody to slow down and stop with putting these stupid signs up, shutting the roads down for anybody that doesn't have a camper that weighs 20,000 pounds or more, because none of us have a 20,000 pound camper. I mean, you used to just close the road totally for everybody, or you close the road for all high profile vehicles. Now you put this thing up. Do you know how many trailers are running down the road that are really light, that don't have any weight to them? They might not be as high as some of these fifth wheels, but they're as high as some of these travel trailers. They're a problem too. But you're not saying that. You're just saying camper. So you're letting all the window installer guys, the working guys with their 20-some foot trailers flying down the roads in these bad conditions, but you're shutting down the camper people? Now maybe you're doing that because you figure you have all these people that are not commercial drivers, buying a camper, traveling to your state and causing this problem. Maybe that's possible, but it needs to be done differently. A commercial driver, I was somebody that wasn't a commercial driver, that was already knew how to do this in the first place and do a good job at it, but now I'm a commercial driver. I think I should be held at a different standard. I know how to drive these roads. I know to slow down. I know my responsibilities, what it's going to cost me if it's going to cost me my job. So the day that I went through here, when I thought that I was legal, until I found out now that I'm not, there was absolutely no wind. I came through Nebraska, nasty, nasty wind, nothing shut down. I get to Cheyenne, it's absolutely the calmest it's ever been in my whole life. I get up here, you say that I can't drive through there from Laramie to Rawlins because of the restrictions, but it says 20,000 camper in my mind. I'm a camper and truck, I'm one whole unit, I'm 20,000 pounds. I go through, I see police officers, not a one of them stopped me, not one said anything, not even looked at me. So I'm thinking, I must be safe, okay? Absolutely no wind. Why in the hell is the road shut down? I know another person that went through here yesterday, the exact same thing. He thought the same as me. He was a combination of 20,000 pounds. He told me, absolutely, there was slush on the roads and stuff, but there was absolutely no wind and the road was shut down again. So now I'm worried, all right, I can't go through them anymore. And they're shutting the road down 3-4 days out of the week, making this really hard. So guys, tell me what you've heard, what you've been told. Did you know what I just told you? Did you know that you're illegal? Did you know if they want to pull you over, it's a $700 fine and 30 days in jail if they want to enforce it? Did you know that? I don't care if you got one of them Riverstone fifth wheels, it's not heavy enough. Ours weighed 16,000 something before we put stuff in it. You're driving down here, hauling that, it's brand new, it doesn't weigh 20,000 pounds. Did you think that you were legal when you were going through here? Have you come across this problem lately? This has been going on for the last 2 or 3 weeks now, and it's ridiculous. So I wanted to throw this out there in the video so you guys that are getting into RV transport and you're going out west and you're going to deal with Wyoming, if you can make it over the Colorado mountains sometime, if you can make it through Montana, it might be the best way to go. I didn't have that option this time. 15 inches of snow up in the Colorado mountain pass. I wasn't going that. Yeah, there was people shut down in Montana again. So my only option was here, and here it was more like rain, no snow, but they said there was winds that didn't even exist in my opinion. This whole drive today had no winds. I'm getting 11 miles per gallon now. I mean, that doesn't happen in Wyoming when it's windy. So thought I'd throw this video out there for the people that don't know. If you're coming through Wyoming and it says 20,000 pound, no campers, under 20,000 pound, you don't have a camper that weighs 20,000 pounds. So that means you can't go across there. And when it's like that for 3 days and you're wondering why, and there's no wind, I'm wondering the same thing. I don't know if Wyoming is trying to, scare us all away. I mean, for you Wyoming people and you Wyoming businesses that thrive off all the money and the fuel that we put in these trucks and we spend through here, that's your bottom line. So you're the ones that need to get a hold of Wyoming and ask them what they're doing, because that's not right. They need to figure something else out. None of the other states. And Wyoming, yes, you have bad wind, but you know what? I've been in some wind lately in Indiana and Illinois that would be just as bad as Wyoming wind or worse. And you don't, if things are not as bad here as you think they are. It's because your speed limit's 80 mile an hour and you got all these people out here driving 80 mile an hour in bad weather. That's what's causing the problems. And then there's bad luck. I mean, you could be driving 45 mile an hour and a giant wind like a tornado or whatever hits you. I mean, that's an act of God. So when that happens, that's considered an act of God. And that's what Wyoming was doing. When that stuff was happening, the road wasn't shut down, they would call it an act of God, and then the insurance companies would get upset saying that that's not an act of God. You should have shut down the road. This is the main corridor. You have no other way to go around through Wyoming. There's no back roads that are going to get you here any quicker. You can get to Laramie. You can get out of Laramie. But when you get to Laramie and the Rock Springs, you're pretty much stuck with Interstate 80. So, longer video than I thought it would be, but I wanted to discuss this because I had so many people reach out lately going, what does that mean for the campers? That's camper and truck, right? Oh yeah, I'm assuming it is camper and truck. That's what I was thinking. I mean, maybe it doesn't have nothing to do with us. Maybe they're talking about these big RVs, I don't even know what them big RVs weigh, but they're on semi-truck chassis basically, so I figured they're pretty heavy. But just a short little video. You didn't have to look at me, you got to look at the Wyoming scenery. And you know how we end these videos always.